There is one animated show right now that's taking the entire world by storm, and it is called Smiling Friends. Debuted back in 2022, but it wasn't until its season 2 debut in May earlier this year that Charlie, Pim, and the Smiling Friends crew really took off. It's probably Adult Swim's biggest hit since Rick and Morty, and that's really saying something. Well, unless you count Learning with Pippi. But that's a discussion for another day. Today we are ranking the top 10 episodes that have come out of the pair of seasons of this insane cartoon. This was a super tough ranking, as there aren't really any duds to be found, and each episode is just so wacky and unique, it's hard to make an actual list. But here we are anyway, so let's jump right into it with number 10.
What kind of loggers do you have?
Is she gonna come back? I wanted a water.
It's no surprise that Season 2 of Smiling Friends leaned into its fan-favorite character of Mr. Boss a lot heavier than its first season, and it's apparent in the episode The Magical Red Jewel, aka Tyler Gets Fired. My favorite part of this episode has got to be the setting of Spamtopia. It has this glitchy, childish, digitized vibe to it that fits in so well with this show. It's giving the Amazing Digital Circus vibes, which might actually be the only animated show more popular than this one right now. And the B-plot this episode follows with Mr. Boss's son Jason is kinda whatever, which is why this episode is only here at number 10. But even with a lower ranked episode like this, it's easy to see why this show is so widely enjoyed. There are no duds to be found.
Wait a second. What room is this?
Secret room!
If I was forced to write a Smiling Friends episode that had to be a banger, going with a wacky murder mystery episode like Who Violently Murdered Simon S. Salty would be a pretty wise way to go about it. The episode is from the first season of the show and is conceptually one of the more straightforward that the show has to offer. It follows the classic whodunit murder mystery interrogation format, except with a fun fast food coat of paint attached to it. It's really great to get a wide range of kooky characters, because that's when the show really shines its brightest. I really don't have too many comments on this episode. It's just like if the board game Clue and McDonald's have a collab one day. That's pretty much what you get to watch for 10 minutes, and that sounds good to me.
Wow, I love my friends, and I love my God, and I love my country, and God bless America, I guess. What else can you say?
Pim Finally Turns Green is the most recent episode of the show to debut, as it served as the season 2 finale episode, and I thought it was a really solid one. This is an instance where the show resorts to its fever dream, what even is this show nature, because the title and description of this episode are just not at all what the episode is about in the slightest. I don't know who they got operating things over at Adult Swim, but stuff like this is so ridiculous, I love it. The episode itself makes for a good watch. It's actually a Christmas themed episode, because of course it is. It parodies Frosty the Snowman, except this snowman has a bit more of an existential life crisis thing going on. Seeing our cast struggling to handle this bonkers situation is really fun, and we even get to see our snowman guy smile as he melts in the sand. Sometimes I forget that this show has an actual main method to its madness, and that each episode the Smiling Friends work to make someone smile. Why does this show work so well? I'm so baffled.
Let's leave these smiling fools to it. Muhahaha! Muhahaha!
It's not even a real laugh.
Alter ego episodes of shows always go hard, so that's why I've got the Frowning Friends here at 7. Frowning Friends is a pretty simple episode, as it follows a rival business that moves in right across the street. To quote the episode's description, enough said. But I still do have some more to say. For starters, this episode introduced us to the legendary DJ Spit, a fan-favorite character whose joke in this episode really lands. I also love Mr. Boss in this episode. He really shines bright here in this one. Then, you got the Resistance Men shtick that serves as the cherry on top of this quality episode. I think if I had to recommend a tamer episode of the show that still represents the show and what the show has to offer, Frowning Friends might just be where I start. The Smiling Friends Go to Brazil served as a special episode to cap off season 1 of the franchise, and it was this episode that really made me view the show as one of Adult Swim's most special, unique programs. I went into this episode, as did most everyone I'm pretty sure, with completely different expectations. I had my heart set on some awesome Rio de Janeiro antics, but the show's ability to commit to the bit of them never even leaving the airport was weirdly so amazing. I think it was this episode that really put the show on the map, and people recognized and fell in love with its ability to subvert any and all expectations. This episode kind of reminds me of that one episode from BoJack Horseman, where the entire episode is just him reading through a eulogy. A show committing 100% to a bit for an entire episode's plot gains a whole bunch of respect from me, especially if it's done well. And here it is.
But I think the aliens that abducted us were also abducted. And now we're inside their ship, and they're flying out of our galaxy.
Yeah, no freaking dip. I could have told you that.
There are 2 episodes in Season 2 where I could really see a boost in animation and production quality, and they're coming in here back to back. Starting with Charlie, Tim, and Bill vs. the Alien coming in at 5th place. This episode takes us on a real intergalactic journey, as we get to experience what can only be described as alien abduction-ception. I also enjoy this episode as it is one that contains a lot of Charlie and Pim back and forth, which is truly the part of the show that makes it what it is. Seeing our main duo be the only Smiling Friends members who make an appearance this episode is pretty refreshing, and this episode dives deeper into their friendship, personalities, and humanity. I also love trying to find parts of the show like this scene, where the animation quality takes a big boost. It's like in the Owl House when that happens, or Hell of a Boss, or some of these pretty infamous James Baxter scenes. James Baxter's pretty cool, isn't he? I love me some James Baxter. Comment below if you want a James Baxter video, like after this one or something.
Cool. I really hurt my finger doing that paperclip bit.
Yeah, no, I saw.
A Alan Adventure. It's not proper grammar, but it's coming in at number 4 regardless. I actually really love this episode. It's arguably the best and my favorite to come out of Season 2. Alan, as a character, is one of the more charming that the show has to offer, and I think the Smiling Friends crew recognized that and intentionally served us up an episode focused on a day in his life. This episode is filled to the brim with interesting chase scenes, wacky locations, and bonkers characters. The episode is paced really quickly, but it's done really well because everything feels really concise and easy to follow. All the drama being around paperclips is peak television, and I love the scene where Mr. Boss gives Alan a miniature version of himself. I truly don't know why that whole ordeal is so funny. I truly just want to sit in one of the brainstorming writing sessions that the show has. I don't know what to expect, but I'm pretty sure it's absolutely bananas.
Well, I don't do my iconic victory dance for nothing. Okay, I guess just this once I can do it for nothing. Ew, ew, ew.
Season 2 started off with an absolute bang introducing the character of Gwimbly. If you have TikTok, chances are fairly good you've seen this guy around, even if you have no idea what Smiling Friends is. I am placing his debut episode at number 3 spot. It goes by the super long and complex title, but I'm not trying to say all that, so from now on this episode is titled Gwimbly's Big Day Episode Show. Gwimbly's Big Day Episode Show is an excellent season opener, as it allows the show to, straight from the gun, utilize its 2 biggest strengths into one. And those are incorporating interesting 3D visuals alongside its 2D art style, as well as writing wackadoodle characters that can instantaneously be adored by thousands of fans. Since Gwimbly was so beloved by culture, albeit mostly animated meme culture, I wouldn't be surprised if the show expands upon his character moving forward. But what we did get from him, and the rest of the cast in this episode, was a real treat.
And this is Jeremy, your only form of hellish entertainment.
Dude, if you do that again, I'm gonna punch you. I'm not kidding.
Charlie dies and doesn't come back may just be my favorite of all the episodes that the show has to offer. The shocking beginning with Charlie horrifically dying allows for some really good setup in a location that presents itself with funny gags, characters, and scenes. Standouts in this episode includes Charlie's grandma, this guy, love that guy, and also Glep. In the end, any scene with Glep is S tier. This episode, all-encompassing, is I believe one of, if not the show's most sound. It hits all the right notes through every minute of the episode's runtime. Adult Swim featured it in their 2023 April Fool's Pibby takeover. You know I had to bring up Pibby at least once in this episode. And actually, April Fool's this year, we got to see some episodes all puppetized, and it was pretty remarkable. Oh yeah, I was talking about this episode. Charlie Dies and Doesn't Come Back is a banger. Check it out. It isn't getting the crown, however. I think there is one episode that just about takes the cake.
I'm Mr. Frog. This is my show. I ate the bug. I ate the bug. This is the end. I love you.
What can you say about Mr. Frog? He is Mr. Frog, and he eats the bug, and he loves us. That alone might be enough for his feature episode to take the top spot, but this episode is legitimately just really great. It is only the 2nd episode of this show, but it hits the nail on the head. While a good bit of the early season 1 episodes can feel repetitive, since it's a lot of more straightforward Charlie and Pim together helping a client smile, but I think that simplicity adds to the beauty of Smiling Friends. Mr. Frog has a chaotic nature attached to him that translates to the screen brilliantly. His television show is totally nonsensical, but also great. I don't even know what to say exactly about this episode. Seeing Mr. Frog ruin his good person status, I will say, is super entertaining. But really, it's just this plot, this character, and this overall episode vibe that puts it at the top spot for me. Now, if you're still watching this video, then that means you're definitely a Smiling Friends fan. So you get it when I say that this show has something really special and unique going for it. Now, I'm sure you have a different top 10 than mine, so let me know down in the comments how you would rank these fantastic episodes. Thanks for watching this cartoon ranking video, and be sure to like this vid as well as subscribe so you don't miss out on any of our cartoony content. I'll see you next time in the Cartoon Cabbage Patch.